All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Echad, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found a couple of articles online, what's going on as we speak. Just silly shit. You know, they probably trying to distract from all the things that are going on in the world. You know, something as silly as this. This is from, where is this? I think the duck put this on his social media earlier today. Then he erased it. Then now everyone's in an uproar about it. But this shit's all foolishness. I'm gonna read it anyways. This is Duck didn't make mistake posting video of Obama's as monkeys, and that's a funny thing to Edomites think that's funny. Because it's really a joke, you know, that it really goes into the Darwin theory, which is just his foolishness. What is the Darwin theory? Of course, it can't. Reps his technology, everything about this nigga is backwards, man. Nigga be teaching these theories in class, and he call that knowledge. Darwin's theory of evolution, detailed on the origin of species, proposes that life evolves through natural selection. Individuals with inherited traits better suited to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing those advantageous traits to offspring, leading to gradual species change over generations from common ancestors, a process called descent with modification. Key components include variation within populations, inheritance of traits, competition for resources, and differential survival of the fittest. Darwin theory and monkeys. These niggas, Edomites think like this. It's really pathetic, man. These people are really pathetic, and they think this shit's funny. So this is kind of what Darwin theory is going into. So it's really deeply rooted in pseudoscience, which is false sciences. That's what he teaches, and he has people. You look into some of his professors. They wrote books. They started universities, and they taught this shit in colleges. This is how stupid these people really are, man. Not all of them, because not all of them are Edomites. I'm just speaking about not all people are Edomites, but Edom. This is the type of shit that they believe in. Okay, so this is 100% contrary to the Bible. Esau came out of a so-called black family in Genesis, the 25th chapter. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's all bullshit. Charles Darwin did not propose that humans evolved directly from modern-day monkeys. Instead, his theory of evolution by natural selection suggests that humans and modern apes/monkeys share a common extinct ancestor from millions of years ago. So where you get this number from millions of years ago? If you think you could look at a rock, put it in some machine that spins it around multiple times, and then some stupid ass equation pop up on a screen, and you say, yeah, see, this is 1 million years old. Like these people are just reprobate and they're dumb. I remember there was the shows on geographic, something like that. I think History or Geographic, I forgot the name of the show, but it was the dude, what's his name? He played in the movie. Is it Samuel? It wasn't Samuel Jackson. It was the dude who played, let me see if I can find this actor. I can't even think of his name. He was, what movie did he play in? He played in, not Samuel L. Jackson. Let me put black actors because it's going to kill me. That are old. I forgot his name. This dude right here. What's his name? What's this guy's name? I don't know why I can't think of his name. Morgan Freeman. Yeah. So Morgan Freeman was doing a show where he went, where did he go? I think he went to Israel. Morgan Freeman. goes to Israel, right? And in his video, he meets this doctor, right? So the doctor's telling him, it's National Geographic, that's what I was thinking about. So, you know, that he's doing this tour. He's talking to this doctor. This doctor does like a scan of him or something, and it shows his brain, right? And the nigga showed him a picture of a monkey. So he's looking at it. The doctor's looking straight at him, right? It's kind of funny because, you know, the reaction, you know, it's funny, right? But this is a doctor. This is National Geographic. This is supposed to be you know, something you're supposed to look into and trust and believe in its resources. You know, they give you all their citations. You're supposed to look into that and see that they're valid. So he's talking to this doctor. He shows him this ape's face, and he's telling me, yeah, you got the God gene or some shit. He said something. I forgot what I haven't seen it in a while, but Morgan Freeman's looking at him like, you could see it in his face like, this nigga's, are you really fooling around? Like, I'm doing a documentary here, and you're putting this bullshit in my face. So, you know, this is where they get their rocks off. This is how they laugh and shit. You gotta suffer this shit, man. But the funny part about the apes is they share your hair type, Esau. We don't have hair like that. Those are two different types of hair. You should put your face on it and see what that looks like. All right. Humans and modern apes/monkeys share a common extinct ancestor from millions of years ago. And this is why they make movies like Planets of the Apes, you know, all of this shit, man. But ultimately, it's very dangerous when you do things like that, because even his rhetoric, he talks about calling people animals, you know. So all of this, it might not really matter right now, but in these last days, these are things that you need to really hyper focus on, okay? Because this might be life or death in the end when it's all said and done. I mean, these people walk around, call you bud, and they call people black and white. They're like dogs, okay? And they eat, dogs are scavengers, okay? That's how Edomites, that's how you need to be looking at Edomites, because in these last days, when there's no food, when there's none of this, they're gonna be looking at you. This is what they family they put you in zoos too. They lock people up and put animals in zoos and shit, and they want you to go look at them. I was watching them lock up some penguins because of the weather changed, so they put some penguins away, and they got even the animals in captivity, man. So these niggas need to go. They need to really. We gonna put you in slavery, man. We really gonna put. They love putting everything in captivity. So it's only right that they go into captivity, okay? Because these people have no shame, nothing wrong with them, man. So this is his evolution. This is a monkey just stood upright, started walking, turned into Esau with a spear, and now he's the guy in the suit. Now he's drawing the picture. This is come on, man. Foolishness, okay? Key points regarding Darwin's theory and monkeys include common ancestor. Humans and monkeys branched off from a common ancestor. So he's basically saying Isaac's a monkey, disrespecting the Lord, because Isaac is, you know, because that's where Esau came from. That's our common ancestor. We go back to Isaac and Rebekah. Okay, Genesis to 25th chapter. Let's grab that. I was going, you know, this nigga Esau, I can't wait to put your red ass into slavery. Nasty ass nigga. Genesis 25 and 23. Salakia, Genesis 25 and verse 23. Let me read the verse. It says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. As a matter of fact, let's just go to the chapter. So this is where his evolution came from. Isaac's sons, right? Genesis 25 and 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan-aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So this is Isaac and Rebekah. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So he was a red Edomite, okay? Not to be confused with being hairy like the garment. The garment was red. Okay, this could be a stumbling block for some when you read the story. It was just saying he was a baby, he came out red. Now, when you read Genesis 27th chapter, it does describe Esau as being hairy. But Genesis 25 and 25 is actually talking about the color of his skin. Genesis 25 verse 26. And after that came his brother out, which is Jacob, who we claim to be, right? And his hand took hold on Esau, said, hold on. It doesn't say anything about his color, hairy, none of that. All of that applies to Esau, Edom. Okay, so this is projection. He hates himself. Okay. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And that's pretty much the point. Okay. He came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. But just to get some context, in Genesis 27, Genesis 27, where's the point? When he's talking, I think I'll start at 10. No, I'll start at Genesis 27 and 8. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Now this is Rebekah talking to Jacob. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. But mind you, he was thinking about venison. Isaac was thinking about venison. He sent Esau on a dummy mission for something he would have been just as good with some goat. But no, Esau, that's what Esau is doing right now. He's on a dummy mission. Okay, he's going out. I forgot what precept it is, but it basically describes how you can separate the nation of Israel from the Lord. You got to count all the stars in heaven. You got to search the deep of the sea. That's why he be trying to do all these things, so he can cut you off from the love of the Father. But he can't do that. So that's Esau going on a dummy mission, just like Isaac sent him on this silly mission to go get some venison when he's sitting on goats and everything right there in his backyard. Got him all in the field, with a bow and arrow, hunting and getting all tired all the day long, putting derelict out, trying to get a damn deer for his father to get a blessing that he never received. So you see, this man, nobody cares about, he's insignificant, since the beginning. And it's ultimately the Lord, the Most High God, that just hates him. Okay, that's why he got Israel ruling over his ass right now. He infiltrated his whole country. Now he about to come down with great wrath via using Esau and your money and coming up against you, because he's an idiot. Even his grandson knows how dumb this nigga is. That's why he's overthrowing him. And that's what he gets. He gets nothing. And he gonna put his people into slavery too. And with this digital, the MOTV ain't really slavery for him. He can't repent, but I'm saying it in a way that that grievous sore is ugly, man. That's not a blessing. Genesis 27, verse number 10. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, and he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. So look at that. We smooth, nigga. So these jokes, I mean, Obama's a Hamite anyway, so that's good. That's what he gets. That's what he gets. This is funny. You can laugh at this, but I'm just making it as a lesson. You know, because this is how these damn devils think about all black people. So-called black. We're not even black. You know, this nigga's an idiot. And I'm talking about the whole nation of Edom. They're all stupid and dumb. They're the scum of the earth. I thought a roach was bad. These niggas are worse than a roach. Genesis 27 and verse number 11 again. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, just like a monkey. And I am a smooth man, okay? I'm smooth, man. Just look at us. We're smooth. You look at Esau. Esau got hair all up in everywhere, man. I mean, Jake get it too, but it's mostly Esau. That's an attribute of an Edomite. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver. Yeah, a devil, like Esau. That's what deceiver means. And I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. So Rebekah, Esau and Jacob's mother, was telling Jacob, listen, go in the back, go get you a goat, and I'm going to dress it. It also shows you how the women were back there too. You know, killing a goat, and that takes a lot of time, man, to kill a goat, drain the blood, take the hair out, you know, this shit's still twitching and moving and shit. You know, that's an all-day thing. You got to do, this must have been early in the morning. You know, you can't, this ain't no, they must have been up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, man. Something crazy, you know, because to prepare that goat and do it the way they did it, it would have had to been early. Yeah, that's just through the spirit. Genesis 27 and 13. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them. Okay, talking about the goats. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, which as his father loved. But his father was looking for venison when you read up. Okay, Genesis 27:3. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison. So he was waiting for some venison, but his eyes were dim. He was old. Rebekah knew what her husband needed. Okay, even though he said with his mouth, sometimes, you know, your wife knows what you want, even when you think you want something else. Okay, she probably made it the way he likes his venison, but by the time he got the food, he was hungry, and he smelled that goat. Jake loved goat, man. Goat's good, man. I haven't had goat in a long time. Get you some curry goat. She probably hooked that up too. It says Genesis 27, verse 14. So Jacob was afraid at first, you know. So this is Rebekah kind of, you know, making him do it, you know, through the spirit. He was thinking about getting cursed. He was, you know, he had that's that righteous spirit. Like, man, hold on, this might not be right. You know, maybe, you know, that thought process, you know, but his mother, it was all through the Lord. Okay. Genesis 27 and 14. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And they were twins in the womb. So, you know, he's only minutes, or, you know, he born the same day. He just happens to be a little older. Physically, spiritually, Jacob's older than him. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. So he had hair on his neck. So imagine how much hair Esau had on him, just like a fucking monkey. Just like a fucking monkey, man. You know, this nigga's a monkey. Right now, we're in the planet of the apes, man. We're being ruled over by these damn monkeys. Okay? And she gave the savory meat, Genesis 27:17, and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So, he's dressing with the skins of the goats, putting it on Jacob so he can act like he's Esau. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. So he knew, even though he had the goat, he knew his father asked for venison. So he's kind of playing on this old man. Okay. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to me. So he understood to go find the deer is crazy enough, Not necessarily just because you go out and hunt a deer don't mean you're gonna actually get a deer that day. Sometimes it takes a couple of days. Sometimes it takes some deer ain't really always that easy, especially if you go on bow and arrow with it. You can't move. You gotta be slick with it, and then you gotta slaughter it, do all this stuff to it. So Rebecca was on, as soon as she heard that, she got Jacob, listen, go over there, get two of the goats, do this, get that. Esau's walking around on his hunting mission. Just foolish, man. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. So this is very revealing unto you Edomites. This is just some ancient you probably just hate about yourself. So if you can formulate something to make someone feel like you, then then maybe that'll make you feel a little bit better. But there's nothing worse. A monkey's better than. It's actually a compliment to Obama and them, because he probably got some hair and some play. He probably paid people to shave his back. That's probably why his hand is bruised, because he probably got a ingrown hair on his fucking hand. Genesis 27:22. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Jake got goat hair on his hands. This dude, man. Oh, man. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. He thought he was holding a monkey's hand. And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. So this is why Esau's bad. This is why he comes up with different things in his mind, teaches it in school. And people believe this shit. This is to go to school. I forgot. I think it was the University of Tennessee. I don't want to say the wrong university, but I think it was though. I think it was. And there was other shit that they taught, like the skulls. He was taking Jake's skulls, and he was trying to find differences. Oh, this is a Negroid skull, and this is a Mongolian skull, or whatever. Trying to make some form of white supremacy. See, our skulls, the reason why we're so great is because the frontal lobe, it's at a 45-degree angle, and that reflects the sun, and it stops. It increases it's all lies, man. the point of the matter is the Lord chose us. We're not great because of our bodies, none of the, even though we're stronger than Him, but it's not why the Lord chose us, man. I forgot what the precept was, but the Lord didn't choose you for any of those things, man. He knows you before you were even born. It's just you're His seed, man. Through the Spirit. You're the first spirits created. Ultimately, the elect. But as He tells you in Exodus 4:22, Israel's my firstborn. So He just got a lot of love for Israel. But when it comes to Esau, it's the exact opposite. So Esau is reflecting the hate that he's getting from the father. Genesis 27:26, and his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which the Lord had blessed. So he stinks too, like a monkey. Hairy, you stink. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So that's part of our blessing too. You trying to curse us, man? Good luck with that. But it does look kind of funny. So he put this on his social media posts, and then he deleted it. But it's all over the internet now. It kind of went viral. But it don't take away from. I didn't even read it. I mean, I don't care about these two. But that's what's in the news. I gotta grab this with that. Ecclesiastes 10 verse 16. This is childish at the end of the day. It says, woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child and thy princes eat in the morning. So, woe means death and destruction when your king is a child. Posting shit like that. You're supposed to be the leader of the new world. That's why this place is going to be destroyed. You wonder why he want to go into Greenland, because he ain't running shit over here, man. Israel wants him to go into Greenland. Everything he does is because Israel wants him to do it. Going over to Iran, that don't benefit Americans at all. It benefits Israel. It don't benefit you stupid ass Americans, man. You just dumb. That's why you're going to willfully take a chip. Ecclesiastes 10 verse 16 in the NLT. What sorrow for the land ruled by a servant, the land whose leaders feast in the morning. Yeah, ruled by a servant. The elder shall serve the younger. Okay, that's what makes you a kid. Let's read the ESV. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child and your princes feast in the morning. Pretty much the same thing. Let me see, anything different? God's Word translation. Oh, that sounds like a good translation. How horrible it will be for any country where the king used to be a servant and where the high officials throw parties in the morning. Oh, man. How did you translate that from the KJV? Good News Translation. A country is in trouble when its king is a youth and its leaders feast all night long. You just say whatever the hell you want, I guess. Just say whatever the hell you want. Translations from Aramaic. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child and your princes eat in the morning. That's a better that's the exact translation. In the Peshitta Holy Bible translated, woe to you, O city, when your king is a boy and your princes eat at dawn. That's a good one. Your king is a boy. Anyways, let's see what's going on in Iran. Iran, U.S. hold talks in Oman as fears of war hang over region. So he was supposed to go talk to these people today. I heard they were going to continue their talks. Tehran, Iran. Iranian authorities have described the latest talks with the United States as positive, but the mediated negotiations in Oman offered no roadmap to alleviate growing fears of a U.S. attack. Waste of time, man. Iran ain't fucking with you Americans anyways. They know they ready for you to do whatever you're gonna do. They already in a war posture against you. They're ready to go to war with you. Iran's team in Muscat, because the thing about Esau think he can bomb some country to smithereens and think that's gonna make them submit. That never works. You have to put boots on the ground, and once you do that, you're gonna be destroyed. Okay, and they're gonna have you put your people on the ground to go fight Israel's war. You ain't gonna. That's the prophecy. The least of the flock shall draw them out. They gonna draw you out, man. Yeah, send those 350 million Americans you got over there. We gonna put them in the meat grinder, and they're gonna chop you up in Iran. That's what 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter is all about. So you can talk all the monkey shit you want, man. We gonna see who gonna be a monkey when you go over there in the Middle East and fuck with the Ram, man. It's gonna be the St. Louis Rams against the American Monkeys. Iran's team in Muscat on Friday was led by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, while Washington sent Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Donald Duck's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Look at Jared Kushner he getting paid good, man. U.S. Central Command Chief Brad Cooper, the most senior commander in the region, also joined the U.S. delegation. Speaking to Iranian television in Muscat after the talks finished, Araghchi said the indirect talks got off to a good start, and that a decision on how to proceed with further rounds would be taken after consulting with the capitals. They probably, you know what, they're smart that they even decided to go speak to them, because now I can buy them more time to do what they need to do while they're talking to your stupid ass. You know, especially when you're going up to somebody that's more powerful than you, keep him running his mouth. That's the best time. Especially you got a bully, man. That dude's running his mouth, and you just punch him right in his shit when he's mid-sentence. Just bust his shit. That's 5 pounds of pressure right here, man. Knock anybody out. But they probably, all right, listen, we're going to hit him with the okie doke. Got him thinking that we're going to build a nuclear site where he bombed before. But yet we're moving all the resources, because they also got makeshift jets. So when you look at it from above, you think you're looking at a whole armada of jets and helicopters, and it's their blow-ups. So they got something for Esau, man. They got something for Esau. And like I said, you don't need to build anything nuclear. You can literally, Russia got shit already made. You couldn't stop. Another thing before all this, the reason why they're really negotiating is because China went over there. China flew over there with a cargo ship. They don't know what was in that cargo. So if you don't know what's in that cargo, what makes you think they don't already have nuclear capability? You bombing shit for no reason. This is why I be saying, man, this dude, man, if you in the mindset that he's doing something, man, you out of your damn mind. But Araghchi cautioned that there was a climate of mistrust. Oh, hold on. Did I skip something? Okay, yeah. But Araghchi cautioned that there was a climate of mistrust after the U.S. military attacked Iran's nuclear sites when it briefly joined Israel's 12-day war with Iran in June, days before 6th round of similarly mediated indirect talks had been scheduled. So they're still mistrusting them because of the bombing of their nuclear sites in the war that Israel, of course they got bad blood between each other, man. niggas trying to set up a puppet government and do regime change. Why the hell would I trust you? You don't trust the devil, man. They know he's the devil. Oman's Foreign Minister Badr bin Hamad al-Baswadi met with the U.S. and Iranian sides separately multiple times on Friday and conveyed messages between the teams. It was useful to clarify both Iranian and American thinking and identify areas for possible progress, he said, adding that the aim is to reconvene in due course. So yeah, let's talk about this a little bit later too. Let's buy us some more time, during peace talks. Yeah. We're gonna keep shipping shit over here too. Consultations focused on creating appropriate conditions for the resumption of diplomatic and technical negotiations, according to a statement from Oman's foreign ministry. Yeah, we're gonna open up. We're gonna keep talking to you. They didn't want to talk to them at first. They don't want nothing to do with you Americans, man. But if every second, every shit goes down, could be used for more military posturing. The more time you can buy, hey, use it all up. But the time is short, man. Okay. But like I said, if China didn't step in when China stepped in, it wouldn't have been no negotiating. He would have already bombed some shit over there. But these other countries have their own agendas and things that they have going on in those states. He's already taken people's cargo, and then you fuck that up. You don't know if Iran owes China some shit. You don't know their, maybe, Russia and all these other powers. Everything's intertwined with each other. You start bombing that, then now I can't get my money. I just did a huge trade deal. I need that right now. So it works out for everybody. War's not, it don't benefit anybody. So if they can keep this nigga talking, they keep the devil talking, it just makes everybody better. It's better to keep him talking than shooting bullets at you. It says the talks in Muscat comes as U.S. President Donald Duck considers military options against Iran. So he's trying to bomb you and you're trying to talk. The U.S. has moved the USS Abraham Lincoln supercarrier in supporting warships and fighter jets near Iranian waters, strengthened air defenses and bases used by the U.S. military across the region, while U.S. forces also shot down an Iranian drone this week. That's right. So they already you shooting down Iranian drones. I was looking at that too. The drone that he shot down, that was probably a test. Sometimes you throw a little something out there, see how they're going to react to it. Because the drone didn't attack them, but it was in their airspace. So he was like, I better shoot it down. But then they're looking, okay, take pictures of what's moving. Okay, oh, look at that. The whole floor just opened up and some Gatling gun came out to shoot this down. So that's how they like to fight it, because they probably got a shit ton of drones. A couple of years ago, they were talking about drone invasion in New Jersey. There was drones all over the place. They said there was a drone in the middle of the sea that opened up, and all these drones. They said it was an Iranian drone thing. So who knows what type of drones they got? I don't think I don't think he understands the technology that the heathen have, man. I really don't. In the modern day warfare, if Ukraine is the way modern day fights are happening, they just lost over 1 million people. So that's going to be a large scale war, man. Okay. And then not only that, you got to spend a lot of money bringing your soldiers over there. At least with Ukraine, they actually save a lot of money because it's their neighbor. You didn't have to deploy all these people into that place. They were already there. So you were able to take people right there on the front lines, throw them in the van, throw them into the front lines. Now you got to take people over here, force them into a pilot, a cargo, fly them over the sea all the way to the Middle East. That's mad money. Look how much money you spending on immigration. You can barely get people moving on that. And you think you're going to do that with people who don't want to fight your war, who don't want to fight for Israel? Come on, you people are out of your damn minds. So what's that going to do? It's going to cause a lot of uproar over here. It's going to cause a lot of infighting over here. And Iran's thinking, okay, while all this is happening, because we know the American people don't want this to happen. We know this is coming from our actual enemy, which is Israel. Just every move doesn't benefit America. You know, that's why they even said to the duck, like, listen, man, you don't want it, man. You being infiltrated, man. And it is what it is. So while y'all fighting over here for resources and things like that, they gonna hide in the bunkers and wait for you to just implode on yourself. I think that's a genius plan on their end. That's smart. And that they don't even need to involve the other countries. So China's not even involved. So while you doing that, getting involved in shit, then you get China, then you got China might be like, no, this is the perfect time to go into Taiwan. Now you got to defend that. Oh, now I need more troops over there. And then Russia's like, let me turn it up on Ukraine. You know what? This is the perfect time to go attack America, matter of fact. Yeah, this is the perfect time. Then maybe that's when the evil thought comes. Then he's like, you know what? I need more raw material. And who knows? Greenland might be ready at that time. Who knows? You know, I don't know how the Lord's going to do it exactly, but hey, man, there's a lot of avenues that lead to prophecy. Duck has repeatedly threatened to attack Iran if it does not reach a new agreement with the U.S. on several issues. Let's see what this is. I know he's going to put some sanctions on them. The U.S. wants Iran to fully abandon enriching uranium, even at the 3.67% civilian use rate agreed under the landmark 2015 nuclear deal with world powers that Duck unilaterally abandoned in 2018. Let's see. Every covenant he makes, he breaks. Iran used to enrich up to 60% before its main nuclear facilities were destroyed or significantly damaged by U.S. bombs in June. Now it says or. Because they don't know. You bomb some shit, you don't know. He didn't even really he was definitely blown to smithereens. And now you seeing, they showed side-by-side pictures. This happened like a year ago. That shit's already built back up. That shit was wasting time. Shit was a waste of time, man. It's all show for you. For you people to keep out. Look what he did. We're much safer now. You know, it's way more dangerous for you now. Several European powers have expressed support for the U.S. demands, as has the far-right government in Israel, which wants to undermine a substantive military rival in the region. But the Iranian government has repeatedly emphasized that it will only negotiate on nuclear issues to lift sanctions and de-escalate, saying that discussions on missiles or any other subject were a red line. As Aragachi reiterated on Friday, it also wants the U.S. threats of war to end. So he wants several different things the duck wants, huh? Not just abandon your uranium, but up to 3.67% civilian use rate. Nope, you can't even do that. I don't want you enriching any uranium. He was cool with it at first, and but that's Israel. And even if you stop, they're still going to go in there. And even if you meet all their demands, do everything they say, they're still going to go and get you niggas. That's why it's like no point in even negotiating. You might as well just go full-fledged war. And you can't even wait. I mean, the supreme leader is 80-something years old. The nigga going to die. The regime's going to change eventually. It's just that he got a short time. He don't got time for wait for the supreme leader to die, man. The supreme leader's fucking 80-something years old, man. They got to set somebody up. You might be able to negotiate with the younger one. I mean, he's only 50 years old. You might be able to talk with him. You see how quick Venezuela switched up with the new president. She thinking she's making the country greater again. She's out of her damn mind. Iranian, and you stole your commander in chief. You're doing business with the enemy. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on over there. But you know what? That's probably better for them anyways, because you really don't have no rest there anyways. Iranian commanders have also said they remain highly prepared for a regional scale war, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps on Thursday showed a new test launch of one of the country's top ballistic missiles. They're doing ballistic missile testing too. So that's a way of them saying we're strong. Let me grab this. Joel 3 verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what they're doing. They use their funding their military capability, and by them doing these tests, showing you, hey, let the weak say I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the valley of Jehoshaphat is over there in the Middle East. So the heathen are being awakened, and you're gonna gather together. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. So that's how you're going to judge the heathen over there. But that's them saying, hey, we're strong too. Iranian Press TV said the I can't say this, Ramashar 4 missile, Ramashar 4 missile capable of reaching Israel and U.S. bases across the region, was put on a mobile launcher taken out from an underground base. So they got the stockpile downstairs. Okay, bring that upstairs and shoot that up in the air. Okay, let them know we got plenty of those. How much we sitting on those? Hey, go talk to them some more. We can probably make 100,000 more of those things if we keep negotiating. Tell them we're going to talk to them next Friday, too. All right? Tell them drinks are on us. We're going to provide lunch, too. Yadola Javani, the political deputy of the IRGC, said that unveiling the missile means that although we have sat down at the negotiation table, we will not give up our military power. So why the hell would you do that? So you can look like Venezuela and have some woman running the country, and next thing you know, you got Cubans talking about how they miss Cuba so much. Some Cubans that left their country over here sitting up in Florida, acting like full-blown Edomites, talking about they don't give a fuck about Cuba. They want Cuba to be destroyed so they can go over there and have do the same shit they do over here in Cuba. People in Iran, this is conditions more severe than war. People in Iran are closely following the developments, but there are fewer signs of the cautious optimism seen during 5 rounds of previous negotiations held last year in the lead up to the 12-day war with Israel. Soraj, the Tehran resident, told Al Jazeera he hopes the negotiations could lift the shadow of war hanging over Iran. War not only brings fear and anxiety, but also doubles the economic pressure. So that happens on both sides of the fence. But those people are already they're more resilient than you. Everyone else in the world can last a little bit of a setback, but not over here in Babylon, man. You people are already on edge and it ain't shit happen. You got people dressing up for ICE protests. He ain't start gunning you down. Those protesters were getting gunned down. They got laws that you can hang the protesters and shit. You gonna be mad when you ain't got any electricity. Cuba, that shit happens to Cuba all the time. Okay, the same thing's gonna happen with you, and you ain't gonna know what to do. But you got your gun though, and that's what's gonna escalate way more than anywhere else. But another resident, Mariam, said she believes the negotiations will not succeed and will definitely lead to war due to clashing positions of the two sides. And hey, Miriam knows something. Angered by the unprecedented killings of thousands during last month's nationwide protests and frustrated by a prolonged state of unpredictability and pressure, some are actually welcoming a military escalation. So these people are out of their damn minds, man. They're welcoming, the Iranian people, some of the protesters are welcoming a military escalation. So they want their government to be overthrown. But if they set somebody up other than this leader, you think it's going to get better, and it's not. It's not, man. All he's going to do is put you into slavery. So you want to go, these heathen are stupid. Don't get me wrong, their government's probably corrupt, but it just gets worse, man. You're going to be in the same position you're in right now, but worse. It's going to be somebody that don't have your best interest in mind. You're going to be like Africa. See how those Africans are? You're going to be like that. But I don't think the Lord's going to allow it to get to that, because you're probably just going to be destroyed. War is not a good thing, but the conditions we are living in now are, in many ways, larger and more severe than war itself, said a mayor from the capital. I don't think that with war, something worse than that, what already exists, will happen. The Iranian government says that 3,117 people were killed during the protests. Damn. And that terrorists and rioters were to blame, not state forces. It also released a controversial list of victims this week that has only raised more questions. That's the same shit that's going to happen here. Terrorists and rioters were to blame. I'm sure Amalek got something for your ass out there. The United Nations and international human rights organizations say they have documented widespread use of lethal weapons by state forces, as well as attacks on hospitals and medical staff helping wounded protesters. Rights groups say the actual death toll is likely far higher than the official figure. Damn, that sounds worse than what's going on. It sounds like what's going on in Gaza. Sounds like Geneva Code violations. And we know who likes to break laws. Foolishness, man. Anyways. Epstein called Peter Thiel, 89, a great friend, offered financial advice. Peter Thiel, head of Palantir. Yeah, Epstein, that's his great friend right here. He was a great friend. I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to read a little bit. Stanford alumnus and billionaire venture capitalist Peter Thiel, 89, JD, 92, frequently met with the financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who lent financial support and taxation advice to Thiel. Documents released by the Department of Justice on Friday show. Epstein also repeatedly invited Thiel to join him on the island, to which Thiel responded, "When are you there?" A spokesperson for the Thiel told the New York Times Saturday that Thiel never went to Epstein's island. But when are you there? Yeah, come on over to the island. The island of Nickelodeon. I saw some dude trying to fit the Nickelodeon sign. This shit looked just like the Nickelodeon sign. The Daily has reached out to Thiel for comment. Thiel, who co-founded PayPal and Palantir, began corresponding with Epstein as early as 2014. Shit. The two exchanged emails, coordinating in person, meeting several times per year at locations including Epstein's New York home, Theil's San Francisco office, and Theil's home. Their exchanges continued into early 2019. Damn, that's a long time. All you damn pedophiles, man. Now, I don't know if he did that, but why else would you want to talk to Jeffrey? Duck said ain't nothing wrong with partying with Epstein. Oh man. The pair's relationship grew close over the years, with Epstein referring to Theil as his great friend in communications to associates. And he wants to implement Palantir all throughout America, man. So all your rulers are compromised, man, by a foreign entity. I wonder what foreign entity this information would what do you call it? Benefit. I could think of one person that would. You know, you can see it. You can see it, man. The two men often, I read that. No, I didn't. The two men often discussed financial matters. On June 12, 2014, Epstein offered to assist Theil with his taxes, writing, "I suspect your personal tax regime, tax regime can use some tweaking." Oh, yeah, I was just doing my taxes with him. Epstein then offered to provide advice that might protect Theil's future, a proposal that Theil said would be awesome. In the same message, Theil asked to meet with Epstein to discuss the matter further. Amid a 2014 crackdown on tax inversion, a form of tax avoidance that involves reincorporating in a country with lower taxes, Epstein and Theil continue their dialogue. Epstein wrote, "Other than me, many, most, if not all, advisors suggested that this was virtually impossible as they had closely followed the law." Theil responded by praising Epstein's advice, writing back, "I never question your judgment on tax-related issues." Oh, man, so now Epstein's just a tax advisor. Still, Epstein's financial advice to Theil was not limited to taxes. Theil opened a Roth individual retirement account (IRA) in 1999, into which he moved $1,700 worth of PayPal shares. At the same time, the $1.7 million PayPal shares in the account were valued at just 0.001 per share. By 2021, Theil's Roth IRA was valued at $5 billion. Imagine that. So he moved $1,700 worth of PayPal shares at that time. 1.7 million PayPal shares in the account were valued at 0.001 per share. By 2021, nigga said that shit was worth $5 billion, man. That's just crazy. Probably did some shit to lower the stock price. But on paper, it looks like you put 1,700 in, but the stock price was at 0.001. So you put mad shares. I don't know how you put shares into an IRA. That's why this is like way above my pay grade. Imagine putting shares into an IRA. Like that just blows my mind. Like, what do you mean you're putting shares into your Roth IRA? Like, don't you just... This is how Esau's playing on a whole different level, man. Niggas manipulating the stock prices, putting shit that don't even belong in certain shit in there. Like, how do you even get to do that? You purchase a Roth, you buy what's in the Roth. You know, you got your set limit, and that's it. Unless he's putting it into something else and doing something. I don't know how they're doing that. I never heard of anything like that. The two exchange ideas about Theil's Roth IRA in the 2014 email. Epstein wrote, "If you knew what you would do with the money withdrawn from the Roth, it might even lead to a more elegant solution." Theil responded that he would pay off 150 to 200 million in loans while noting the size of his wrath was somewhere over $2 billion. Damn. Epstein invested $40 million into Volar Ventures, a venture capital firm co-founded by Theil and considered buying shares of Palantir. Yeah, see, Epstein wasn't no low-level dude, man. He was a demon, but he wasn't just that, man. Politics, culture, and economics were frequent topics of discussion between the two men. Other messages outlined plans to meet the Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, I haven't heard him in a while. Elon Musk, aka Daffy Duck, film director Woody Allen, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and former Secretary of State Burns, among others. Ehud Barak. Let's see what this devil looks like. Not Ehud. Nigga said his name was Ehud. You ain't no Ehud, nigga. Let's talk about Ehud, man. Judges 3. This nigga said Ehud. Yeah, okay. Judges 3, verse 15. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gerah. Ain't the son of Gerah. A Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. So, is this the man? No. Judges 3, verse 16. But Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. Judges 3, verse 20. Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from God unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. And Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. Judges 3, verse 23. Then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors in the parlor upon him and locked them. Judges 3, verse 26. And Ehud escaped while they tarried and passed beyond the quarries and escaped unto Serath. That's crazy. So yeah, I wonder if he's from if he says he's from Benji too. These people, man. These people. The two also met with several CEOs for dinner in Palo Alto in August 2015, which Epstein described as wild, including Zuckerberg, Daffy Duck, Reid Hoffman, 90, Joy Ito, and Ed Boyden, PhD, 05. Does my bad press give you pause? Epstein asked Theil in one email. Theil's response was unfazed. If I was intimidated by bad press, I would not have gotten anywhere in life. So these people don't give a fuck. Yeah, I can see him eating put some blood around his lips and devil, man. Nigga runs Palantir. I didn't even want to read it all, but I did. 3 killed as vehicle crashes into grocery store in Los Angeles. Somebody drove and crashed and killed 3 people just sitting down enjoying themselves in some marketplace. Yeah, that's the Lord, man. 4 other people were taken to a hospital, 2 with serious injuries and 2 with minor injuries, officials said. I thought 3 people died. At least 3 people were killed, right? And 4 others were injured on Thursday when a driver lost control of her car and rammed it into a grocery store in Los Angeles, the authorities said. Man, that's a spirit created for vengeance, man. Getting killed in a grocery store, getting hit by a car in a grocery store. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. That's the Lord, man. You think the Lord's playing, man. He'll hit you with a car while you're shopping. That's different, man. And the Lord comes up with these counsels. An angel can, Lord, I'll make an old lady fall asleep at the wheel. I'll give her a heart attack, a mild heart attack, and have her go full speed into the grocery store because he's going shopping in a couple of hours. He's gonna be there. If when he sit down in the food court, I can get him right there. I can get all three of them right there. And he was like, "Yep, that's a good idea. Go and do that, and you'll prosper." Ecclesiasticus 39, 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction. They pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So he gets appeased when these things happen. Fire, hail, and famine, and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts, and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So these spirits are ready to do their work, man. The Los Angeles Fire Department responded to the collision around 12:10 p.m. in the city's Westwood neighborhood. 3 people, a 55-year-old man, a 42-year-old woman, and a 30-year-old man, were pronounced dead at the scene. Lindsay Lance, a spokeswoman for the Los Angeles Fire Department, said in a news release. So that's 13 years apart, 12 years apart. The other people were injured. 4 other people have been taken to a hospital, including 2 35-year-old men who are in critical condition. 2 men, 38 and 37, were also taken in fair condition, the department said. And so 3 died, 3 are in critical. 2 are in critical. A woman driving a silver Toyota Prius, oh my God, he hit you with a Prius, struck a cyclist about a block from the grocery store before losing control of her car and crashing into the market, officials said. Oh my God. Hit a cyclist too. I wouldn't be driving on Los Angeles streets, man. That's just like, I saw a police cruiser hit somebody. He was riding a skateboard. The cruiser was flying down the road. Woo, woo. And then he saw him last minute and it just hit him, man. He's in the middle of the street skateboarding. Ain't no cars on the road, so he probably thought he was good. And here comes a police cruiser out of nowhere. SUV just gets him. Captain Anthony Espinoza of the Los Angeles Police Department called it an unfortunate accident. During a brief news conference, the cyclist and the woman who was driving the car declined medical treatment and were not taken to a hospital, Ms. Lance said. Hold on. The woman and the cyclist both denied medical treatment. She killed all those people, man. Damn. How old was the lady? Like, you ain't saying nothing about the lady. The majority of people were injured were customers at the grocery store, Captain Espinoza said. The car plowed into the bakery section of the store, where the 3 people killed were at the time of the crash. You gonna get your bread, man. You should have got the right type of bread. You should have got the bread of the Lord. Several people were trapped under the car when the fire department arrived, Ms. Land said. The grocery store, a 99 Ranch Market, is a few blocks from the campus of the University of Cal, Los Angeles, UCLA. Students were hurt. No UCLA students were hurt or killed in the crash, Captain Espinosa. So the Lord's going to get who he wants to get, man. That's a crazy-ass story. Now look at this shit. Dow tops 50,000 for the first time as stocks stage a huge rally after the week's chaotic sell-off. Now the stock market's going back up. Probably because they had this negotiation with Iran. So it's going to seem all good until it's not. You know? And that's what they do. They manipulate the stock market. So while everyone was freaking out, oh, there's a crash, it's a stock market crash. They do this shit every couple months. No, it's a stock market crash. And then they allow people, they let y'all sell off, right? And then they robbed you. That's what they do. They rob you, man. And another thing is, sometimes what they do is just a smart thing to do, I might admit, is when you come up on some stocks, you even if you take an L, what am I trying to say? I forgot what the name of the thing is. If you take an L, it's kind of early in the year, so it don't really help you with your taxes. But what they do is, like, this was happening towards the end of the year. It's for them to, I forgot what it's like, reposturing or whatever, where you kind of you take the L so you can write things off in your taxes or something like that. A lot of the times they do that shit just to for tax purposes. But this shit is like a casino, man. The best thing you should do if you're gonna be going into the stock market is dollar cost average, man. You just put a little bit a day. Don't depend on it. If the Lord allows you to cash out a little bit to pay some bills off, and then good. But all this shit is overinflated. First of all, the stock market's way up. Way up. All right? Everything is super inflated. So when it does have somewhat of this is not even like a real correction. Everything is like 4 times more than what it actually costs. From things I was seeing, like 4 or 5 times high, like stock shares for stocks of tech stocks. It says stocks, what does it say? Stocks notched a milestone after days of heavy selling hammered tech and AI names. The Dow Jones Industrial Average staged a stunning rally of more than 1,100 points to hit 50,000 for the first time ever, managing to close above the key threshold. The dip buying extended to other areas, with tech shares and Bitcoin also up sharply. Shit that don't even tech shares and shit, man. That shit ain't even doing nothing really. That's what's really propping up the stock market. The iShares Expanded Tech Software Sector ETF, which entered a bear market this month as investors panicked over high valuations and AI potential threat to software companies, surged nearly 4%. The ETF is still down around 30% from its peak late last year. Investors were also eager to jump back into other areas of the market that logged heavy losses this week. Bitcoin surged 12%. And 12%, you could have made 12% on fucking Bitcoin. That shit's over fucking $70,000. You could have made 12%. I mean, I really don't give a fuck about none of that shit, man. After testing the $60,000 mark late Thursday, it's still down 8% since Monday. Then it tested the $60,000 mark. That's way high, man. Even at 60,000, that shit just lost 50% of its value, and it only dropped to 60K. Other areas continued to struggle. Silver, which stabilized after a historic plunge last week, dropped as much as 1% before making up its losses. AMD plus 8. Honestly, I want all this shit to crash. I want it all to crash, man. I know it sounds crazy, but the people who run this shit, I'd rather go broke and watch these niggas suffer. Traders are taking the recent decline in tech as an opportunity to buy the dip a winning strategy that has persisted for the last several years. Paul Hickey, the co-founder of Bespoke Investment Group, told Business Insider, people are coming in again, and whether it'll be successful in the future, nobody knows. But that's the trend that's worked over the last 18 months, he added. A miserable week for tech mercifully approaches the finish line today. Joe Mazzola, a head of trading and derivatives strategist in Charles Schwab, wrote on Friday morning. Anyways, so what? It went back up, but there's going to be a point where all that shit's going to crash, man. So don't keep your mind on this stupid shit, man. But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will this